when I walk into a room, when I go out to a party, when I'm anywhere, people are looking at me. People are mesmerized by me. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way. I'm not blind. Like, I can tell when people are taken aback by me. I can tell when people are very drawn to me. And it's not just men, okay? Men and women alike have come up to me and been like, honey, there is just something about you. You are so beautiful. You are so amazing. You're so this, you're so that. They don't even be knowing me, right? But it's in my energy field, it's in my aura. Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to Earth's Feminine. And if you're new here, welcome to the Earth's Feminine community. This is the channel where you can learn all about primal feminine energy and how to connect back to the original ways of embodying womanhood and feminine energy without and before all of the colonization and conditioning that has happened here on this planet. So we're getting back to the beginnings of what it means to be a woman, and in today's video I want to talk all about the 3 most powerful steps that are going to help you step into your magnetism and become extremely magnetic and attractive in pretty much any space that you enter into. I want to break down what magnetism is, because I want to make clear before I go deeper into this video that magnetism is not something that you strategically do so that you can be magnetic, okay? Magnetism is something that is embodied, meaning it becomes a part of your vibration, becomes a part of your energy field. And when you become magnetic, it's something that is happening within you more so than it is something that you are doing that is making you seem like you're magnetic. My past relationship to magnetism and being magnetic was not always great. When I was growing up in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, I struggled a lot with my self-esteem and my self-worth, and really just even feeling good about myself, period. I felt ugly a lot of the times. I used to compare myself to other girls that didn't look like me. So a lot of white women I used to compare myself to. I used to compare myself to the native girl or the Asian girl or the girls that, you know, within my environment were being validated by maybe the boys in my class, or maybe just the way people would look at me versus what the way that people would look at them, or the way that people would treat them versus the way that they would treat me. Honestly, it was pretty like racist area that I grew up in. So I had a hard time really appreciating myself and my beauty growing up, or really just my energy growing up. And when I would walk into spaces and walk into places, I could remember just always feeling like this insecurity. So that feeling of insecurity, giving away your power, so to speak, to these societal systems, to, you know, your friends, to that boy over there, or that guy over there, or that, you know, whoever is, you know, commenting or has this opinion about the way that you are. When you are looking for validation, or when internally you feel validated, and that is like your basis of security, then automatically you will just be less magnetic. You will be less attractive. There will be something about you that doesn't draw you in as much as, you know, someone who doesn't need that validation and somebody that finds their own security within themselves. So understand that the essence and the core of magnetism is essentially power, and realizing that you don't need to give your power away to anybody or anything else. All of the power resides within you. All of the power actually is you. When you recognize that, when you accept that, that is when the real magnetism can begin to happen. Now, I will say, growing up as an Afro-Indigenous woman in the 90s and early 2000s, that was still a pretty insidiously racist time. There was a lot of prejudices around Black beauty, Black women, our hair texture, our skin color. So coming into that kind of confidence and that kind of, you know, self-validation is not easy. But what I was able to do that helped me to fully step into that security was learn more about my ancestry, learn actually the truth about my ancestry, because a lot of the things that we are programmed to believe, we only believe it because we've been told lies our whole life about our background and where we come from. So when you believe that you come from slaves on a plantation and Africans that are over in Africa starving and killing each other all the time, which is what is propagandaed to us, or at least it was to me when I was growing up. When you are taught those things, naturally you're not going to feel that good about yourself. Naturally, you're going to feel like there's something wrong with you, right? Subconsciously, there's something wrong with your bloodline. There's something wrong with your lineage. And also when you have all of these people who are buying into that propaganda as well, and also carrying these racist mindsets and ideologies, and they're projecting that onto you, my saving grace was learning the truth about where I come from in my ancestry. I had to learn about who I was and where I come from. And in learning that, in accepting that I do have an indigenous lineage here to America. Oh my gosh, my ancestors created this. My ancestors did that. My ancestors are powerful people. My ancestors knew all kinds of things, right? And when you learn those things about yourself, you start to take a lot more pride in who you are. When people say certain things about you or want you to think a certain way about how you look, about your skin color, about your hair, you just naturally want to slap them. You know, like, what's wrong with you? Somebody get this jigaboo away from me. That becomes your energy, okay? Because you have this newfound sense of pride and love for yourself. That is what I had to do for myself, to really begin to accept that I'm a powerful person. And that is the beginning. So magnetism, in essence, is you stepping into your power and you recognizing that you are powerful. That was kind of like your intro into magnetism, but I want to get into these 3 steps that I have found that has really secured me deeply into being incredibly magnetic. Because when I walk into a room, when I go out to a party, when I'm anywhere, people are looking at me. People are, you know, mesmerized by me. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way, but I'm just saying that it's because I'm not blind. Like, I can tell when people are taken aback by me. I can tell when people are very drawn to me. And it's not just men, okay? Men and women alike have come up to me and been like, honey, there is just something about you. You are so beautiful. You are so amazing. You're so this, you're so that. They don't even be knowing me, right? But it's in my energy field. It's in my aura. The first step to really stepping into being powerfully magnetic is to realize that there is something that is very dominant about when you are secure in your feminine energy. Okay? Feminine energy is a powerful energy. And when you step into the power of your feminine energy, that is when you're able to captivate people in a way that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Recognize that you are powerful. You are feminine power, and feminine power is the most powerful energy. I mean, feminine power is pure and raw power. Masculine power is like an aspect of power. Feminine power is like the actual power. So feminine power is where your magnetism is going to come from. And ways that you can really start to embody this feminine power is simply through connecting back with receiving and understanding what it means to be in the receiving mode. When you are going out places, when you are on a date, when you are with people, if you want to be more magnetic, then you need to step back and lean back into what it means to be receptive and what it means to receive your environment. This energy reminds me a lot of my Queen of Cups card in my Osho Zen tarot deck. This card talks about receiving. It's called receptivity. In the description of the card, it talks about how receiving is something that you can only do when you are empty, when there is no full cup, right? When you don't already have all this stuff inside of you that is kind of stopping you from opening yourself to receiving someone. When you receive, you're listening, okay? When you're listening, you no longer exist. You just become a vessel. You become this vessel of feeling and emotions, of attuning to something. If you are holding on to something, if you are holding on to things, if you are carrying things around, you're not actually listening. Okay, think about when someone is talking to you, and when they're talking to you, all you sitting there doing is thinking about what you're going to say next, or how they're so wrong, or this and that. It's like you're not actually listening to them because you're so full of yourself. The only way that you can receive God is by emptying yourself and letting go of whatever it is you're holding on to. And this is why this feminine energy is, in essence, the closest to God, because you can't meet God as this warrior, right? Or as this, in this fighting mode. You have to be in a state of receptivity, of receiving. So feminine power has so much to do with you being able to tap into this energy of receiving, being able to receive someone else, being able to receive your environment, being able to listen more than you speak, really feel the environment around you, and not feel the need to have to do anything about it or have to fix anything about it, but you're just in it. You're just feeling it. Feminine power has so much to do with being able to receive someone else. And if you are not able to receive other people, if you're not able to tune into other people and listen to other people and be able to hold space for what is all around you, you're naturally just going to be a little bit more agitated. You're going to be a little bit more aggravated. You're going to be a little bit more, you're going to be more out of your feminine energy and more in your masculine energy. And what that does is it disconnects you from your body. It disconnects you from really feeling into the present moment. So being in the present moment, being in the receiving mode, being able to just be present with your environment and with the people that are in your environment is a feminine trait. It is a feminine quality, and it is a part of feminine power, being able to connect with others' emotions very deeply without you having to fix it or control it or whatever it is. This is a very feminine state. And when you're able to sit with other people in the feelings of what's coming up, what's present for them, and you can open space, you can help open space for them to explore what those feelings are or what they might want to do about them. This is really a really simple example, but say someone is coming into your home. You guys have been standing up for a while, chit-chatting. They just came in. An example of feminine power would be to simply recognize that their legs might be tired. They might be feeling, a certain way. Maybe through their body language, you notice some things. And then you proceed to ask them, well, would you like to sit down? And they go, yeah, I would. I would like to sit down. Thank you. That is a very simple example of feminine power. Say it's something deeper. Maybe someone is going through something and they're sharing something with you, and you're able to really connect with them and feel them. And then in that moment, you ask them, would you like to work with me? Or would you like to do this? To solve this problem that you've just shared with me about, or things like that. It's a very receptive energy because you're not pushing yourself onto people as people tend to do when they just come into a space or come into an environment and they just start sharing, or they start asking questions, or they start this or start that. You want it to be a flow. You feel like you're inviting someone into your energy and not so much craving someone to be in your energy. And when you have this very present energy where you're relaxed, you're feeling good, you're receiving your environment around you, and you're just opening the space for someone to come in, it's much more magnetic and attractive. So the second step to being extremely magnetic in your life and in your relationships is to become magical. Okay? Become magical. When I say become magical, I mean this is where tapping into your inner mystic, aka your dark feminine energy, comes into play. Because when a woman is not magical, or she does not know of her magic, or she does not know how to wield her magic, or she does not know how to practice magic, she will start to give her power away. When you are out of your power, you naturally will give your power away because, number one, you are ignorant to the fact that naturally, as a woman, you are a magical being. You have a connection to the spiritual realm. You have a connection to the divine in a way that the masculine just can only access when they are in a presence of a woman, or if they have activated this feminine energy within them. But 9 times out of 10, they've got to come to you to get the real deal experience of this kind of energy. You begin to intentionally practice magic, okay? And this is practical magic. This is whatever kind of magic that you feel the most drawn to. And there are various different kinds of magic and ways for you to connect to the earth. Maybe your archetype isn't necessarily the earth. Maybe you have more of a watery energy, or maybe you have more of a fiery energy. Maybe you have more of an airy energy. I'm going to do a video on my reimagined feminine archetypes very soon, because a lot of women have access to these superpowers, these magical abilities, and they have no clue how to tap into them. They have no clue how to really access them because they've been birthed into a world that is so devoid of magic, where the routine and the mundane has taken over, where the carnalities of this world have taken over, and the magic has left us. And this is where it is powerful for you as a woman to connect back to that magic through the moon, through the earth, through the stars. Because when you are in tune with the universe, when you are in tune with the divine, you will naturally get in touch with your magical side. When you are in touch with the magic of this earth, you will become more enticing. People, the right kinds of people will be magnetized to you, and the wrong kinds of people will stay away from you. And the wrong kinds of people are typically the people who maybe subconsciously don't have a good relationship with feminine energy, maybe subconsciously hate feminine energy. A lot of people who have problems with feminine energy also have problems with accepting the unseen world, or accepting that how powerful the unseen world is. So definitely connect to your magical side and start to develop a deeper relationship with that divinity that is you. The last and final step to becoming powerfully magnetic in your environment is for you to begin to enhance your fertility. Enhancing your fertility is not just so much so that you can be magnetic to men or to the opposite sex, but enhancing your fertility also helps to balance out your hormones. Enhancing your fertility also helps for you to be more physically and biologically in touch and in tune with your feminine self and your feminine energy. A lot of women who are out of touch with their magnetism are also thrown out of whack hormonally, and maybe suffering from, menstrual issues or feminine health issues. Any woman who is still in those years of having that fertility window, I highly suggest for you to focus on physically enhancing your fertility. Living in Seattle, Washington, if any of my watchers or subscribers are in Seattle, Washington, you guys know that it gets really, really, really cloudy. It gets really, really dark. There are like dark and cloudy spells in this area of the Pacific Northwest, specifically right near the water. And so it can cause you to have vitamin D deficiencies. And so when I first moved out here, I had no clue that I was gonna have to readjust my nutrition because of my environment. And so for a long time, I didn't know what to do exactly about how my health was being affected here in Seattle, Washington, until I came across a brand called Ancestral Supplements. Ancestral Supplements has wild caught fish eggs, and wild caught fish eggs are extremely high in vitamin D. Like a teaspoon of fish eggs is equivalent to like 2 weeks worth of sunlight. That is how potent the amount of vitamin D that there is in fish eggs. So I purchased some fish eggs from Ancestral Supplements. At the time, I was really learning more and more and more in my health journey. And when I started to take the fish eggs, I noticed that I was actually starting to like fill out in certain areas. Like my breast was kind of looking a little bigger. Felt like I was a little bit more curvier. Like it was the craziest thing because I was taking these fish eggs for like a month, and I was noticing all of these changes, like hormonally, right, in my body in a good way. Not only that, but I also started to notice that when I would go out, and maybe not have on any makeup, I didn't have on the best outfit, I was just looking like plain old me, and I would go out. I remember specifically I went out to the grocery store, and I was just walking past men, and I noticed that these men, like, they would like take these second looks at me, almost like they smelled something. It was so crazy. But I completely attribute it to the fact that I began to supplement with fish eggs and consume fish eggs. And fish eggs is extremely good for fertility and enhancing your fertility. So it's something that I highly recommend for any woman that is wanting to balance out their hormones and also wanting to become extremely magnetic. Fish eggs is something that is known to be extremely good for children and for pregnant women and for women who are looking to increase their fertility. It is something about the ocean, okay, that really gears towards a woman's feminine energy. So fish eggs are really powerful in enhancing your fertility and balancing out your energy and increasing the pheromones that are coming from your body. And I've talked about pheromones before and how your hair has a huge amount of pheromones that it gives off when you wear your natural hair. So that is another thing that also adds to your magnetism and you being more magnetic is, you know, being your natural self along with enhancing your fertility and balancing out your hormones. Okay, my loves, thank you all for watching, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, but don't click off yet, because if you are interested in working with me, if you're interested in learning more about stepping into your feminine power, go to the description box below and shoot me an email to let me know if you would like to be a part of Redemption, my 5-week intensive, or Lunar Feminine Freedom. Okay, my loves, peace.